Hello, loves. Welcome to Drawing Down the Stars. And this is Gemma with your April new moon and the second lunar month reading. This month marks a point in which action becomes form. We like to call it a transformation, but it's part of the natural world order and the natural process where actions now become into their initial sense of fruition. And we can see it in the world around us with the flowers starting to bloom and the initial sense of abundance. But this second lunar month and this new moon have a different feeling to it. And we can attribute that primarily to the planets. Now, this is, once again, Vedic or astronomical astrology. So we have two prominent conjunctions, and then we have some planetary players or forces working in the background, which give this month a unique position of bringing new into form. The sun and the moon meet together in Ashwini at 3 degrees and 15 minutes of Aries. They are conjunct Venus, which is at the latter part of Aries. Equally, we have Saturn, Mercury, and Mars conjunct in the exact same lunar mansion. This makes for a powerful conjunction in Uttara Bhadrapada. So if you have that as your birth moon, this will be a very, very profound month for you. Or if you have any of those planets in Uttara Bhadrapada, you have a little bit of an extra emphasis on this month towards what you bring forward into something new. Now, Uttara Bhadrapada has a magical position. It is representative by benediction from the past. It has a very keen point of past karma, and it will really work into the unconscious and subconscious mind. Now, once again, we have Saturn, Mercury, and Mars conjunct in the 12th house, and the Sun, Moon, and Venus in the first house. This is a very powerful creative potential, but it's a potential of creativity when it comes into cutting away and starting fresh. Now, the workers in the past or behind the scenes, we have the nodes. And I really want to bring into insight is K2, the south node, which represents past life, is in its own house, Maga. Rahu, north node, is in its own lunar mansion, Shatabisha in Aquarius. And then we have also Jupiter in its own lunar mansion of Purnavasu. Now, the reason why K2 is going to be very prominent is because the sun and the moon are also situated in K2's lunar mansion of Ashwini. That's a lot. What that means essentially is we have an emphasis of the past being swept away and giving almost a bit of momentum, wisdom, guidance, but not influence the actual creation. So we have a split from past karma, a creative severance and a rebirth that will emerge this month within you and around you. Once you held the past as a relation to self, it no longer exists. This month marks the point in which there's a guidance, an intuition, an unknowing of the known, but it's not going to come into how you position yourself, how things take form. Your actions are no longer going to be reliant on what was in order to bring forward what needs to be. Now we get to see this as a crossing. That severance I mentioned, it's a new point of creation. It's a new point of creativity. It's an emergence into new form. And like all things, things come from what was, but not here. It's as if what was is simply like a godfather, a mentor, something that guides you, but is not a part of the creation. So in that sense, we can call it a transformation. We can call it a transformation into something that has been longing to emerge. Now, that's the connection to the past. That's the connection to the karma. It's a wisdom in sense and not so much a do as it has been done or the outcome will be as it was. It's a whole new world. It's a whole new you. We see this emerging very heavily into the sense of a new world order. And we all feel about that. Now, I mentioned that pretty extensively in my reading on the Saros cycles or eclipse cycles. But in addition to this whole new being, there's a vitality and an acceptance, a new acceptance of self and not of past into integration, but a complete new species, if you will. The beauty is that it emerges from wisdom, as I had mentioned, and it emerges from a fire, like a willingness, a strength, a readiness to step forward. There is a really strong impetus that will emerge. And within the evolutionary cycle, or within the esoteric realm, this is where the phoenix essentially rises. We have a new birth. The king is born. With the sun and the moon meeting in Ashwini at 3 degrees and 15 minutes, there's an exaltation that is occurring through the south node. And I kind of mentioned it a bit, but this is going to be K2, again, south node, in its own lunar mansion in Leo, in Maga. So again, if you have a birth star or sun there, this is going to be exceptional for you in terms of tapping into hidden wisdom. But this birth moon, or any of you that have a birth moon in Aries, Leo, or Sag in the beginning of the fire signs, you will be greatly affected. But this position marks the activation of latent energy. I really want to emphasize that. It is the position that marks awakening potential. Again, a new king is born. It is the position where we see within our external world and internal world a release of life. Prana becomes invigorated. Life force becomes activated. It's symbolized in this position as the horse. So Ashwini is a position of great regeneration. We know this in terms of life is regenerating. We see it in our world is coming back alive, but it's also regenerative potential within the self, because the soul self is intricately connected to the external world, the seasonal self. And we start this second lunar month with more of an emphasis in the Aries nature. Not because 3 planets, Sun, Moon, and Venus are in Aries, but because at 3 degrees, there's a subset of Aries nature that pushes forward. So each lunar mansion has what we call a pada, 4 sections, and it gets into the micro of it. So we're not looking at just this broad 30 degrees of Aries. It is literally at this specific degree. Aries nature comes into rapid movement. It is the position of the stars in which impetuousness is activated. Like you can't wait. You have to go, move, act. There is an inner fire that's getting sparked. This month is marked by the initiation of abundance. And we'll start to see that abundance trickling in more and more, or coming in rapidly. Now, abundance isn't just monetarily. It can be a lot of things. You can have an abundance of confidence. You can have an abundance of knowledge that floods to you. You can have a self-assurance that you've been trying to tap into for who knows how long. But this is a strength that emerges. And when something is in abundance, it isn't solely on what we gain. It's more about who we've become. And that becomes and draws in an abundance to us. Now, it can be an abundance of attention, opportunities, etc., etc. Allora, the month of abundance is going to be marked with action. And it doesn't have to be action in your doing, but there is action, kinetic energy behind the scenes. There's activation that is occurring. It is that connection of action, this arising of latent potential, that we connect it to Persephone, or the Romans connected to Prosperina, to prosper. These Greek idols, these myths, these deities mark the change not only of the season, but that fruition of latent ability that starts to come, right? The beauty that starts to arise, the abundance that ushers forward, the newness that comes in. This month will be all about activating and awakening. It's going to be about activating and awakening your higher self, the you that has become untethered. There's going to be an abundance of how you move through that. Some call this a threshold, but I see it more as galvanization, galvanizing your inner self into the higher potential. That latent energy now reaches the spark to emerge. Now we must look at the nodes a little bit deeper because they're the gatekeepers. The nodes K2, Rahu, what you're drawn to, Rahu, what you have done, K2. This is where the knowledge comes from. We have influence from Jupiter in the 4th house that will stabilize everything. But this is more about a mysterious knowing, like not knowing why you know the things you do, or trusting a deeper intuition. It might arise as a calling, an intuition, or a spark of like intrigue, and now you're just super curious about things. These nodes are going to mark a position of how we move the new from the old. They will be the gate in which we cross on our desires emerging from the wisdom. It is an awakening of deeper intuition, or the seed that holds the code to become the mighty oak. That's what we're working with. Is that little latent potential that starts to spark and grow immensely, the code that is written within you. So if I can offer anything as we wrap up this reading, make waves, stake your claim, take up space. Don't shy away into the shadows. It's about emerging. This month will carry each of us through 4 phases of development. Esoterically, it's the involution to the evolution, and where form moves in omnidirections. Again, the seed that holds the code. K2, the South Node, will be the key in this month. Wisdom, higher guidance, spirituality. It's the undercurrent, and it is a power from the unseen. K2 is the spiritualization, the seeking of liberation. So when I say liberate yourself from the past, but the more you settle into the spiritual aspect, or the unknown and the unseen, and how that becomes form, doing visualization, tapping into that code within you and seeing it emerge, even if it is not in physicality, the more you're going to access this energy. Because with Saturn, Mercury, and Mars and Pisces, there is that aspect in Uttara Bhadrapada. So that middle of Pisces is indicative of spiritualization, emerging from the unseen world. Now, these planets, really quick, can create challenges in personal relationships. That's across the board. But it also shows gains in foreign sources. That can be gains in foreign lands. It could be gains in partnerships with foreign entities. It also can be gains in things that are unknown. When something is foreign, it's not known to you. Again, we're tapping into the unconscious and the subconscious state. So it can be past karma that emerges. It's a foreign source from this reality. And it is foreign in a land. Many of you will move. Many of you will tap into foreign aspects. But it's the unseen again. And within this asterism, the nakshatra, or this lunar mansion of Uttara Bhadrapada, these 3 planets are within basically 10 degrees of one another. There's a tight conjunction. This tight conjunction can hold a rapid windfall, a brilliant idea that sparks to you, a access into a deeper realm of lucid dreaming, accessing a higher aspect. It's the evolution, again, of the involution. So going inwards is going to, in direct proportion, represent the outward growth. But this also creates almost an immense drive for personal growth. So these planets are contributing to this new me, this new emergence from the back end. The unseen, the deeper waters is where that power is emerging from, especially with Mars here. So in a sense, what moves you forward is behind you, right? What moves the self forward is no longer tethered to you, but also deep within you. It is an activation of your subconscious drive. Use it. It's an activation of diving deeper into the unconscious realm and the abundance that is within there, the limitless nature that is within you, the seed that can hold the code for the awakening of a new you. These energies also demand surrender into strength. Don't fight more power. Don't fight more exertion. Don't fight, well, I don't want to do that because I might be tired. No existe. Because this surrender is surrendering into an unknown strength and will that lies deep within the heart. So the way to work with this second lunar month is through activating your inner drive and accessing a higher spiritual capacity to awaken the latent ability and potential that is within you. The king or the queen has risen. Ciao to each and every one of you, and I hope you enjoy this reading. You can use this, tap into the lunar moon, lunar yoga. I'll include all of the links below. Also, I have an upcoming retreat in Tuscany in the heart of harvest season. So really accessing the beauty of Tuscany right in the fall. Also include that link below. And for any further thing, feel free to check out my website. Ciao Suti.